Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. The champ is here. It is December 16th, 2013. This is the Squared Circle. I'm here with Mr. John Zimmerman and the Thunderous One himself, Tom Dacey. How you guys doing?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
What's going on? Good evening. December 7th. We were supposed to be on last week, but due to circumstances beyond our control, we ended up having the week off. But nonetheless, joining us in studio is the new PWA International Champion once again, Mr.
First ever
Lords.
First ever two-time.
Yes. Two-time. December 7th, it all went down.
6th.
December 6th?
What was it? 7th. I'll leave it to the host.
Yes, it all went down at the Bristol Boys and Girls Club. The past, the present, the future. A phenomenal show. They had Ox Baker there, John Cena Sr., and tearing it up during intermission, the PWA Youth Program.
Yeah.
Starring yours truly.
My son, yeah. We're going to show that footage in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to skip all the controversy that it caused and focus on the positive aspects of it.
Exactly.
These guys put out a great effort. And before we get to the footage, I will say that they were in a very controlled environment. If you go to Pee Wee football, those kids are at more risk than Jacob and the other PWA students were. And if you saw a couple weeks ago, we did have some of the other students on, and we interviewed them. And you know, myself being a parent, I know from the other parent's standpoint and seeing, talking to them, we were all fine with it. We didn't feel that the kids were exploited. They weren't, used in any way. The match wasn't advertised as part of the card. The kids got a big thrill out of showing off in front of an audience for the first time, and they did basic spots, which you'll see. Again, you've got gymnastics tournaments where the girls are younger than these kids, and they're doing high-risk maneuvers, on the balance beam and doing flips on the boards and all that stuff, the rings and what have you. Various martial arts centers put on actual fights, where the kids that meet don't know one another, and it's not a controlled environment. It's, these two kids are going at it in a combative stance. So, and the criticism, and we'll leave it at that.
Exactly. It's not something you see every day. And let me tell you something. I was really impressed, and I thought they worked just as hard, if not harder, than some of the actual regular guys they have out there.
Yeah.
Well, not a PWA, but
right. Well, we can go through all the different sports and physical activities that kids are involved in that are much more dangerous. The skateboarding that these kids are doing, trying to emulate like the X Games.
Absolutely.
And the BMX bikes and all that stuff. And these kids worked very hard and put together that exhibition. And for anybody to poo-poo on it is, it's really just disgusting.
Right.
And get your facts. Come and see me as one of the parents. Come down to PWA because the door is always open.
Absolutely.
And come down and ask the questions or watch the training session.
Right.
I was at every training session that Jacob did for this exhibition. And like I said, these kids worked very, very hard. And it really hurt me in my heart to see and hear somebody criticize it, and taking it out on these kids,
and somebody just thinks it's exploitive. Then if that's the case, then every other contact sport,
right?
That is
like I said, Pee Wee football and gymnastics and cheerleading. When they're throwing these young girls up in the air, and if you look at the accident statistics out there, all of those sports are more high risk than what these kids did. A couple of drop downs, a snap mare, and that's about it. And it's disgusting. But you can see the video and judge for yourself. You guys want to run that now while we're talking about it?
Yeah, let's run it now.
Why don't we run it now?
Okay.
And then we can get to our...
let's
then
run
the
that
quicker
now.
we run that, we start talking about me.
Right.
Exactly.
We definitely will talk about Mr. Lords. 6 students did the youth program over the fall. And speaking of fall, somebody just fell in the studio. See, our studio is more high risk.
And as you can see, there's Joseph Von Schmidt.
Joseph Von Schmidt, excuse me, and Quinn Johnson, also known as Buzz Whatsaw. And did I just break kayfabe?
You might have.
No.
But you know, the 2 trainers are in the ring, making sure everything's fine.
Exactly. They're right by them at all times.
I must apologize. I did shoot this myself with a digital camera. I'm not the greatest camera person, and I apologize for my ring positioning. But PWA did a professional shoot, and hopefully when Joseph Von Schmidt gets it all edited and put together, we'll have him on and maybe run the pro shot. But you can see Jacob and one of our former guests.
It's being shot
Kyle,
from a fan's
correct?
perspective. You got
Kyle Maruka.
It's something you don't see every day. I've never seen this before. It's just, you know, it's amazing.
Well, maybe that was a shock factor because, you know, kids, like you say, you don't see this. And you see Pee Wee football all the time. You see, you know, those other type of exhibitions all the time.
I think they're onto something, you know?
Right.
I think if we get enough kids interested in this.
Now, from a professional standpoint, what did you think these kids did? How did you think they do?
I think they executed very well. This is actually the first time I'm seeing it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were backstage at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was gearing up for my match. My match was actually right after this.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So I was running around in the back.
So you were yet to become champion.
Yeah. I was figuring out what I was exactly going to do.
Right. If they
Maybe steal a move or 2 out of this.
if they get enough kids interested in this youth program, perhaps they can even have a division and maybe even a champion.
The under 25 champion.
Why not?
That wouldn't cause any problems.
You know, the kick out, tag in. This is Luke, Maruka, and Miss Ellie, as she's known, or as Quint calls her, Missile. Short, yeah. It started out as Miss Ellie and evolved into Missile. And without insulting these kids, I mean, these are basic maneuvers. I mean, this is something, if you were to go down to PWA, you would learn in your first few months of training.
Now, this was after their second training session?
Miss Ellie and Jacob had done the summer program and then the fall program, so they had the benefit of 2 training sessions. I know the twins, the Maruka twins, had just done the fall session, and I'm not sure with the other 2. I think Dan and the fellow that calls himself Jabroni had some training before coming to PWA. Do you know, Steve? Am I correct?
I have no idea.
No.
It's not confusing. Like, a training session consists of how many actual training days?
But the way they worked in that ring, it's just...
so you say 2 training, we want people to think that they only went there twice and already in a ring.
Oh, no.
So
I mean,
each session consists of, what, 8 weeks?
Yeah, 8 weeks, and it was twice a week, you know, 4 hours, you know, and so Jacob and Miss Ellie had 16 weeks of training. And, you know, Quint is the head trainer down there, and not only did he train them the wrestling moves, he trained them how to respect your opponent, how to respect yourself, how to act with dignity, and, you know, conduct yourself. He also taught them yoga moves. He taught them stretching, you know, just general physical fitness outside of the wrestling, you know, and which is important. Because you're not just going to go in and start doing Jeff Hardy moonsault off the top rope. You know, and being that
it probably took Jeff Hardy years to perfect that.
And being that the 2 gentlemen in the ring now are a little older than the first 4, you know, they do a couple of higher spots than the younger youths.
I thoroughly enjoyed this that night. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was a great venue for these, for a reward for these guys working so hard and listening and and behaving, and really working diligently
to be able to perform in front of a crowd. I
Right.
mean, I don't know what was going through their minds, if they were nervous about it or going into this, but they seem natural, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, they did. And like I said, they worked very hard, and they practiced and ran the spots over and over and over until they got it right. Until they had it down, so there wouldn't be that nervous factor. And much like being in a band, you rehearse,
Exactly.
What's the point of going to all the training if you're not going to be able to perform?
Exactly. Just
In the hard way.
something you don't see every day.
Right, exactly. I think that may have been some of the issue.
Well, anytime anything new is introduced to a society, it maybe creates some kind of
right.
trepidation, but in the end, everyone gets used to it.
And we all know where this is going to lead. But I mean, these guys put on a good performance.
Hard work and dedication pays off.
Yep. Another roll up. Hey, you can't pin me. I just pinned him. No, wait.
Uh-oh, what do we got here?
It's a pin fest.
It's a slobber knocker.
That's it. Chaos ensues. Even the ref. He's like, that's it. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. They're all disqualified.
So, I mean, for all the 10 minutes, I mean, it was a thrill, not only for the kids, but for the parents and their friends to see.
Exactly.
And and it was just fun. We all had a good time, and I thank PWA and particularly Quentin Joseph von Schmidt for allowing them to do that.
Well, I'm telling you, I'd still like to see Jacob versus Kid Scrawny. I think Jacob could take him.
Yeah, I think Jacob could take Kid Scrawny
anytime
in a shoot match, right?
I don't know if he could take Hollywood J. Williams. There's only one Northaven icon, Jacob.
And as you said,
yeah, right here.
Right here. Right after that match, there was a championship match between Heart Attack Tommy Mack and Mr. Lucifer Lords. Long time coming. You fought from the bottom back up.
Yeah.
An injury thrown in there and everything, and here we are with the championship
against
again.
all odds.
All I have to say about that match, I think you left him with a broken heart.
I did.
So, congratulations, Mr. Champion.
Thank you.
So, how does it feel to once again hold that belt?
Oh, it's great. It's the only spot you want to be in. You want to be on top looking down at everyone else. I don't like looking up. Looking up wasn't fun.
No.
Now everyone looks up at me.
Everyone looks up at you. Well, let's keep that belt around your waist.
Yeah.
Now,
I plan on it.
have we booked, I know the show for February 22nd has been booked. Do we have an opponent yet?
Azrael.
Azrael.
The current Tough 8 champion.
Yes, the current two-time Tough 8 champion is going to take on the two-time international champion.
Now, are we going to do like a unifying of the Tough 8 trophy and the belt? Or
No, the Tough 8 is actually like a Money in the Bank, so he gets it. He's choosing to cash it in. He gives up that title now. I'm sure next year we'll have another tournament.
Okay.
And
He wins the Tough 8. He cashes it in on you.
he does.
But at least he's cashing it in on a match. He's not waiting until you're done wrestling someone else for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
which is typical of some other wrestling
It is very
companies we
typical,
know.
but you know, it might have worked out better for him to wait. Going straight into a match doesn't benefit him, but that's fine. I'll take his trophy. I guess I don't really get it, but
You don't get right.
You teach him a wrestling
yeah.
lesson. Go out there and do that. That's one North Haven legend to another. He can do it.
There we go.
Exactly. Another great match that night, I have to say. And it reminded me of a match a few years ago on SmackDown between the Big Show and Brock Lesnar. And I'm talking about the Wrecking Ball and HTA, Bulls Red. That was a great contest. Everything all right?
I'm losing transmission.
He's losing transmission.
Okay,
folks.
sorry, gentlemen. Sorry.
You have to adjust the mic.
All right.
Check.
Technical difficulties. gentlemen.
Technical difficulties.
Go right ahead. Continue.
Yes, they're talking about Bulls Red and Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Bulls Red.
Awesome match.
Were you
Awesome
able to
match.
watch that match?
I caught the second half of it.
My goodness, that was a hardcore match to end all hardcore matches. That was $60 pay-per-view quality match.
Absolutely.
And the table spot happened right in front of me, and I was just
And
like,
me.
Yeah. I mean, we're together, and that what a spot! It was
The only thing they
amazing.
didn't do was like the ring didn't come apart like like with the Big Show and Lesnar.
I'll tell you what, if they had done that table spot in the middle of the ring, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
very
think
well
it
could have.
would've
Your lovely wife even got a souvenir, I believe.
Yeah, she got a little bit of the Wrecking Ball's blood on her boots.
Those $2,000 boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. But now they're spotted. So
They're spotted.
maybe it'll be a new fashion trend, you know. But yeah,
Somewhat,
Wrecking Ball
maybe.
got bloodied up a little bit, and I believe he cut his hands. Right? I think. It was,
Yeah, I believe he split his thumb.
Oh, that's what it was. I knew it was
He,
somewhere in.
He went to catch one of the street signs,
Ah,
and the metal edge hooked him and cut him.
yeah, he.
Maybe 3 or 4 stitches.
3 or 4 stitches
Yeah,
later.
it looked like a stuck pig. There was just blood all over it, and it added to the excitement of the match. The kids in the front row were like, "Woo!"
Yeah. That's why they tell you don't try this at home.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we might be hearing from Mr. Dredd, I understand.
Yeah, we're
tonight,
looking forward to
possibly.
hearing from Mr. Bull Dredd tonight, if he can find the moment out of his busy schedule.
Right.
And of course, on our Facebook page, there are pictures of us
Yes.
with the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, you can see the blood coming out of his hands right across Jacob.
What a night. What a night. So I encourage, as we're always saying here, you have to check this PWA out. You have to support your indies, all of the companies. But they put, you know, I think the quality a lot of times is a lot better than what you see in the mainstream organizations like WWE and TNA.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing with PWA, which you can attest to, is that it focuses on their students. You know, at the December 7th event, they did have a special guest in John Cena Sr., and he came out and did a little speech and got involved in one of the matches. But he wasn't the main focus. He wasn't the big draw on the card. The big draw on the card are the PWA mainstay talents, yourself, Buzz Wutsaw, Joseph Von Schmidt, Azrael is in the company.
Oh, yeah.
Who else am I missing? Wrecking Ball Magursky, of course.
Dredd.
Bull Dredd.
The new guy, you know, Grappling Greg's come out of nowhere with his fan base.
Yeah, Grappling
This
Greg.
Grappling Greg, we have to get a hold of him
He
somehow.
was definitely over, you know. And
I don't know if he's lost yet.
I don't. You know what? Think of it. I
think if there was Indie
We'll have
Power
to go-
Rankings and PWA, I think #1 contender right now should be Grappling Greg.
We'll have to go to the videotape on that one because
It would take one to know one, Mr. 500, I understand.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Something we
there.
took.
It is. Where's the magazine?
I don't even
We've
think
talked
I
about
have.
it in the past.
No, we haven't. Not with you on the show.
No?
No.
I thought we have.
No.
They misspelled his name.
I don't think they did.
I happened to come across in a supermarket. I'm sitting there
Pretty sure it was the first time I looked. That was if they spelled my name right. I don't know. I'll go home and look.
Coming in somewhere in the 70s was Mr. Von Schmidt, and at number 500.
You made the list.
Actually, he wasn't the 70s. I think he was
370s.
Yes.
Yeah, Azrael.
Tommy Mack was in there.
Azrael, Heart Attack, Tommy Mack, yourself, and Joseph Von Schmidt. So 4 people that were on that card on December 7th.
That's impressive.
Are on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500 of the world. I must stress, not of the United States, not of the New England region, of the world.
Of the whole world, they rank.
That includes New Japan Wrestling. That includes every promotion out there. And you know, to say, you know, that you made 500 is impressive. That you make the list at all. And like you said, you don't like looking up, so you've got 499 people to look up to at the moment, and hopefully next year you're going to climb a little higher.
Because how many millions of wrestlers, John, are out there probably?
Oh, without a doubt. How many millions of wrestlers, you know, or thousands of wrestlers are here in the New England region that would love to be on that list and would love to be holding that PWA International Championship?
I mean, I don't like tooting my own horn. Or yes, I do.
But it's well deserved.
If anyone got the newest magazine, they have the 2013 achievements list.
Yes.
And I am nominated for a top candidate for Rookie of the Year. And the voting has just ended, so I'm just waiting to hear back on that.
Well, I did cast my vote. I'm sure you gentlemen did also.
Oh yeah.
Vote, you know, vote often.
Vote early and vote often.
That's what I was trying to find out.
A bunch of fake email addresses, send them in. You know, if I made 1,000, it would probably be in the bag. But
but in all seriousness, we did cast our vote for you, and I can't. You know, I can't say enough that, like I said, the 500 in the world, and to be on that list is got to be an accomplishment for you, and we're only going to get better.
Right. Just as number 500 this year, and next year it might be number 400.
400 would be a disappointment, but we'll shoot for like 200.
200.
Well, you heard it here first.
Right. That's
we
500.
can make that happen, can't we?
Well, you know, you got to book the matches and book the shows. Do you have anything outside of Connecticut booked coming up soon?
I don't. I do actually. January, I got a triple show weekend up in Maine. 10th, 11th, 12th, or 9th, 10th, 11th.
Wow.
Whatever weekend that is up in Maine for IWE. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably have a thing here and there. I got maybe New Jersey, maybe Pennsylvania.
Right.
You know. Wherever they call from, I go to.
On the road again.
Yeah.
Go out there and show them your stuff and make North Haven proud.
And I understand Joseph Von Schmidt is ready to go down to South America.
Yeah, he should leave some end of next month, beginning of February.
Yeah.
I think he'll be hitting Mexico and some surrounding countries.
Speaking of PWA students and their success, I believe Little Schmidt just got his 3rd championship belt. If I'm not wrong, it's his 3rd. Yeah, Little Schmidt. If you go onto Facebook.com and look up Little Schmidt, Joseph Von Schmidt's former protege DNA sample. Little Schmidt is down in Ecuador, and he's fighting for a couple of different promotions down there, and he got his 3rd championship belt. So he's following in Joseph Von Schmidt, his mentor's footsteps, and you know, again, coming out of the PWA training center right there.
Soon to be, yeah. Soon to be, he'll have just as many belts. But that's got Central America's got to have the AAA Mexican influence too, so it's a totally different style, I'm sure.
Yeah. But prior to becoming Little Schmidt, he was El Matador. And ironically enough, there's a promotion now that's using the Matadors, right? Los Matadors?
Los Matadors, yes.
Who's Eddie Escobar?
Ole.
Pardon?
He was Eddie Escobar.
Eddie Escobar,
Yeah.
And he was the Matador.
Did he have a nickname?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He did the whole cape.
He had a hat, I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't there that long, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I recall. We had him on the show.
But anyway, speaking of other events, last night, TLC, didn't stand for tender love and care neither. Tables, ladders, and chairs. And the top story coming out of WWE, the undisputed, once again, and this is the truth, this is what happened. All you saw last night was the reunification of the WWE and World Heavyweight titles. That's whatever. However, they're trying to spin it.
Right.
Right. Back in 2001, the WCW title was combined with the WWF at that point title. They were unified. Chris Jericho became the undisputed champion. Later, I think it was the next year in 2002, Eric Bischoff became general manager of Monday Night Raw, and I guess for whatever reason, maybe due to, I'm not trying to say anything, maybe due to his relationship with the boss's daughter or whatever, Eric Bischoff presented Triple H, who was the forefront of a group known as Evolution at the time, the World Heavyweight title, which bears real striking resemblance to the former WCW title.
Right.
It almost
Which
would make
was the NWA title.
Yeah.
that one, yeah,
Yeah.
the WCW title.
Right.
It bears striking resemblance. If it's not the same one, I don't know what it is, but gee. And he just gave it to Triple H. Triple H didn't earn it. It was just, you know, he was the anointed.
Right, there wasn't a match for it. It was just
right. Here you go. And ever since then, we've had the world title. It's been defended. It's been the main focus of the Raw brand before, the main focus of the SmackDown brand before. Now, without the brand extensions, the world title has been a part of both shows, but now it's reunified. Now I understand maybe tonight on Raw they might be coming up with a whole new championship belt. I'm not exactly sure, but
I would guess that since they just changed the belt, they're going to just use that belt. The new WWE.
I don't know, marketing, making a new belt and you can sell more toys. But
maybe it's going to have the Authority's picture on it.
Well, yeah, I think losing that lineage of the NWA belt, which became the WCW belt, I really think that is a slap in the face to the history of the business.
I agree.
Absolutely.
You know, and the belt that that Orton had, you know, taking the old belt that Bruno Sammartino had and changing it to that one that looks like a college class ring or something. Not a fan of that at all. You know, I think
the spinner belt, and what The Rock did to it, either one.
Right. I mean, you know, Stone Cold with the smoking skull, and you know, everyone, and the Rated R Superstar belt, right? But I really think, I don't know, I'd like to get your opinion. The history and the lineage of the championship should remain, you know, intact.
I totally agree.
What do you think?
It depends the point of view you look at. I mean, like, you asked me the changing of the belt or just keeping it in general?
Both.
I mean, I didn't think there was a need to unify them. Each show should have their champion. They want to bring it all into one, that's fine. The change is just, you know, it changed back in the day. I mean, the belt that Hulk Hogan won in '84 was not the one he held the whole time, you know. It changed, and as the eras changed, the belt changed, and you could argue that no one likes what Cena did, and no one likes what it is now. Well, you know, everyone seemed to love the Smoking Skull belt. That wasn't a problem.
Right.
You know, so you can't say one and not say the other. You know, I remember that Hulk Hogan belt was terrible. It was like a little circle with some 4 squares on the side.
Right.
It was good for its time, but then they made the Winged Eagle belt. I don't know the exact time when the Winged Eagle belt was presented and who had it for whatever reason. But if you're going to argue that you can't change it now, then maybe you shouldn't change it then.
Right.
And in the world title too, it made you wonder. I mean, if that's a belt that dates back to 1904. Is the belt that
kind of
Frank Gotch wore in 1904? You're telling, was that really around John Cena's waist?
No.
I'm sure that's sitting in a.
The argument I have again is I don't know all the lineage. That maybe I should, but the NWA belt I remember would be a little square belt that had like maybe a little flag on it.
Yeah.
That's still to this day, I think Rob Conway holds the NWA championship. which is not the World Heavyweight Championship,
Right,
but
right.
somewhere in the 70s that belt changed and became with the one that everyone remembers Dusty Rhodes jumping up and down with.
Yeah. Which they showed ad nauseum last night during the.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, definitely.
It's funny as how that belt changed, then somehow it was brought to WCW, and that became the WCW, and no one remembers that. When I think of NWA or anyone else, I would think of the old school that Ric Flair held.
Right.
I don't know if he had anything to do with NWA and WCW at the time, which now that I think about it, kind of puts it together.
Yeah.
So that belt changed too, and they
it's
call
a belt that has room where you put the champion's name right on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And there's always room. Like if a different person becomes champion, you can take like Ric Flair's name off and put Dusty Rhodes on there, or Lex Luger, or whatever you want.
Let's get right. Lex Luger never won a championship.
I personally think that eliminating one of the belts, unifying it, and you're going to lose some of the lineage wherever. Excuse me, if we can trace it backwards, to, like you said, the one that Ric Flair held, the one that Dusty Rhodes was holding, and I just remember that, like the IC belt when I was a kid, Pedro Morales holding the Intercontinental belt, and that's changed. And, even the tag team belts, those copper penny ones that they have now are just horrible. And those aren't the same belts that the Hart Foundation had, and Tony Garea, Rick Martel, going back even further.
Even then, those got split.
Yeah.
Between brands, and there was the tag team champions
for each. Yeah.
They had different names too.
They unified the
world tag team champions, and then just the tag team champions.
Didn't they have the television tag team, or am I thinking of like TNA?
They had they never had. I don't believe they had a TV title. WCW had a TV title. TNA had a TV title. No, they never.
Speaking of the brand, what do you think? I mean, it seems like there's too much overlay between Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, we've gone over that.
I mean,
right.
They need to split the show.
Well, see, Tom, that was my whole thing about them unifying the belts to begin with, is they shouldn't have done it, because, in fact, they should have reinstituted the draft.
Yep.
Having two brands, having two belts, it gives more opportunity for more people to have championship gold. Now with one belt, and it's seemingly always the same people dominating the main event spotlight, like John Cena or Randy Orton, it makes you wonder, when's the day going to come when somebody like Daniel Bryan becomes the champion, or Biggie Langston?
I think they need to separate them again, like they did before.
Yeah.
SmackDown and Raw.
Right, and then I think that would make the pay-per-views a little more exciting, because if you have two groups of guys that you don't see fight on the same card, like every week.
Yeah.
They even had separate pay-per-views altogether.
Right,
yeah,
the pay-per-views are going to be a little more exciting to see those guys clash. Once every other month or so.
But now it's like you're watching the shows every week, and it's all recap of what you already saw. How many times?
Yeah. So I think at that point, TLC stands for total lack of content.
Total lack of content.
And really, TLC only had the one match last night that really involved ladders or tables.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand. If it's a pay-per-view, it's supposed to be called Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, and there's only one match that has tables, ladders, and chairs in it.
Right.
Then what's the point in having the name of it TLC?
Right. Well, didn't they have TNA did Lethal Lockdown, and not every match was in the cage, and Hell in the Cell.
The original Lethal Lockdown, every match was
in the cage. And now they've strayed from that. Like you said, the TLC. I think TLC, bring that match back into WrestleMania, and don't make it a pay-per-view.
I could second that.
The things
they go back and forth on everything, though.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could say with having one belt is it makes that one belt now more prestigious.
Right.
Now everyone has to attack that one.
Right.
It's not, oh, well, that one's taken, all right, I'll go for that one. When you have two main champions, it's like, how can you say two people are the face of the company?
Right.
To say that Randy Orton's the face of the company because he has a WWE, and then have John Cena hold the title, who we all know is the face of the company. Now it's every guy has to fight for that one title.
Some say John Cena is the face of the company even if he doesn't have the belt.
Pretty much.
Right. Other matches they had, apparently this was This was supposed to be given a little more time, but it didn't end up giving, you know, not to break rank or whatever. AJ Lee retained over Natalia. I don't know what happened there. Apparently there was some problem between her and an NBC reporter.
Yeah.
Going back the night prior or during
the taping of tribute.
During the taping of tribute to the troops.
Thank you.
During the week. Right.
Yeah, what precipitated the slap to the reporter hasn't been let out yet. But yeah, there was talk of taking the title from her and giving it to Natalia. But I don't know, her drunken rant on Total Divas this week to Stephanie, I think kind of put the kibosh on that.
I haven't seen it yet, so I gotta watch
yeah,
it in my
she went
DVR.
into what they call Brie mode, and she was apparently very intoxicated, and Stephanie actually played the drunken rants off of her phone onto the show.
Wow.
And it was quite amusing and embarrassing for Natalia. So don't drunk dial, folks.
How much longer do you think AJ will hold the title?
As long as she's still selling T-shirts and is over with the crowd.
Well, over with the crowd, still selling T-shirts. WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
No news on Hulk Hogan. You heard any?
No,
I will
nothing.
predict Hulk Hogan will be at WrestleMania 30 in some capacity.
He'll be there in some capacity.
He will be there.
But nothing more. Nothing more about that.
I don't think he will wrestle. I don't think he should wrestle.
Oh God, no.
No. But
Break a hip.
you had CM Punk take on the Shield last night, and now we're
That was a good match.
Now we're having some problems with Rollins, Reigns, and Dean Ambrose.
I definitely think there's a crack in the Shield.
Yes, crack in the Shield is correct.
Cracking the Shield.
You will see in the upcoming months Roman Reigns get a huge push and more than likely get one of the minor belts.
What caused the problems last night? Because that was one match that I happened to be on a conference call and was unable to...
Talk about the spear.
Yeah, it was a good spot. Roman Reigns comes in to spear Punk and he moves out of the way. And he ends up spearing
Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, thank you.
Just your typical
and
accident.
that's how Punk won.
And that's how Punk won, and that's how the Shield just started to... What did they do? Start shoving each other, you know, the normal...
Yeah, of course.
Right. Something you've seen a million times.
Yeah. I mean, the Shield has run its course, I think.
Right.
And they're due to go off on the singles programs. So naturally, they don't have the tag team titles anymore, which are still on the Rhodes brothers. How long do we think that's going to last?
Not too much longer.
Not too much longer, I don't think. I think probably within the next month or so, I would say.
What are we looking at?
I would guess Royal Rumble, maybe.
Yeah, what are we looking at? The Usos?
Randy Rollins.
I don't know. It could be Big Show, Mysterio. They seem to be over.
Real Americans.
But I predict that they're going to do the typical breakup. They're going to lose the tag titles, break up, and they're going to set that up for WrestleMania 30. Because I think everyone wants Cody versus Goldust.
Yeah.
Everyone
and
wants
I
to see that.
think deep down they want it to.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
That'd be an awesome match.
No, my history is muddled. Have they done that before?
No.
Have they ever faced each other in the ring?
No.
Never.
The only time they faced each other was that time when Goldust made that appearance at the Royal Rumble, and he was eliminated by Cody.
Okay. So that would be a good clip to show leading up to it.
Goldust wasn't really around when Cody was doing his mainstay.
Right.
And then they came back and kind of revamped his career.
Yeah.
So.
But
I'd like to see that match.
They retained the belts last night.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I'd say it's pretty soon.
I'd say Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Or the one after on what do they do? Extreme Rules.
Yeah, Lucifer Lords
February.
predicted it. You heard it here.
One of those pay-per-views.
Elimination Chamber, I think, is next.
Yep.
Extreme Rules is after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes.
Okay.
But Kofi Kingston, this was an unexpected match. Beat The Miz. Probably some filler. IC Championship, Biggie Langston retained over Damian Sandow.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I'm still waiting for Damian Sandow to grab one of the belts and run with it for a while. I like the Sandow character. I really do.
He should be champion, but they squashed him. So
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Another one that, you know, is going to have to wait for his opportunity.
Yeah.
Who knows how long that'll be. Then you had, of course, the Wyatts defeating Daniel Bryan, and this is something, you know, it seems like they're burying Daniel Bryan, too. Somebody more than capable of being the champion.
I don't understand why they're doing that to Daniel Bryan.
Well, as I said before we went on the air, we were talking about this, and whatever Vince doesn't create, he doesn't like. So Daniel Bryan came with a following out of Ring of Honor, and he's definitely over. If you watched last week's Raw, when Cena and Orton are in the ring, everybody's cheering for Daniel Bryan. And he really wasn't a part of that angle. And you can see Triple H getting kind of upset, and you can see the anger on his face. That you know, they were just cheering for Daniel Bryan, and
he just keeps getting over and over.
Push Cena and Orton match, and you know, the crowd just wanted Daniel Bryan.
I know. We were talking before we went on air. Lucifer and I were saying we thought Daniel was going to win last night.
Yeah. It just seems that, you know, they won't pull the trigger on it. You know, they got a guy that's over. The crowd loves him, and they just can't. You know.
They want to keep going with the feud with the Wyatts, I think.
Yeah, it was a mismatch. As my son pointed out, that, you know, here you got three like really big guys that aren't, you know, necessarily the best movers in the ring, with one of the guys that can move around and, you know, and do a lot of high spots, you know, and here you have just three big brutes that should be fighting like a Big Show or somebody of that size. And it's a different style match.
And Eric Rowan, he towers over Kane even.
Right. So, I mean, those guys should have, like, you know, beat up, you know, brawling matches, not technical wrestling matches. And Daniel Bryan obviously is more of a technical wrestler. And you know, I think a great match would be Daniel Bryan CM Punk. I'd love to see an Iron Man match with those two, because they would knock it out of the park.
That would be a good WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Vince would never allow it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Two Ring of Honor guys stealing the show, and they would definitely steal the show.
One for the books.
That would go down as one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time.
Yeah.
It's probably something we'll never see. You're probably right about that.
Right.
Vince don't like what he, you know, and I think, you know, with Vince not being around anymore, and well, he's probably ultimately the one still in charge, but it seems like every day he's giving Triple H and Stephanie more and more power. You know, and the one day if he ever decides to retire, or the one day, heaven forbid, he's no longer with us, and Triple H and Stephanie are the ones in charge, they need to be a little more receptive to other people's ideas, and you know, take that same attitude.
Excuse me one moment. I'm just getting a message from Bull Dredd. He's trying to call in. If we can get that call in relatively soon, we'd appreciate it. Mr. Dredd is trying to get a hold of us.
He is trying to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
We need to hear from the Mr. HTA himself.
I feel like Dredd's following me around. I don't know.
Right, I know.
I do other shows. Dredd shows up.
Go ahead.
That other show on Thursday night.
Well, the other show on Thursday night, I will say, and I will give an on-air apology. Mr. Fogman and myself did have a little bit of a feud. Things got out of control. At the December 7th event, I did apologize to Mr. Fogman, Mike Abitable, and it's been squashed. I don't know if you were brought into the loop on that. And that being said, we have Bull Dredd on the line.
Definitely.
Mr. Dredd, we apologize for any technical difficulties. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
What's going on there, guys?
What's going on?
We got
Mr.
Lucifer
Dredd?
Lords in the house. We're talking about the pay-per-view last night. We're talking about December 7th, the brilliant performance by everyone on the card, including yourself. And tell us about that match and how you felt afterwards about it.
Well, I'd like to say, you know, say hi to my friend over there, Lilo, and congrats to him on winning his second reign as international champion.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You never know. never know, because Lulu might have to face the beast for one time or another.
Oof.
Whoa.
I accept any challenges.
Calling you
so.
out.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows the history. You know, I just put it out there. Hang on. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I put the history out there. I mean, you know, Spencer, other AKA Wrecking Ball, is, you know, when he started watching wrestling, he used to come. His days, early days of wrestling, and his memories were when, you know, the days that I started in the business, and he pretty much grew up watching me. So to me, it was like, you know, like any, the way I kind of went about the match was like, you know, like CM Punk watching The Undertaker growing up, you know, and I was main eventing WrestleMania. So I kind of took it like that, and it was an honor for me to, you know, to wrestle him. And, you know, I mean, was I scared? Yes. But, you know, everybody saw the outcome of the match, and the better man won that night. You know, I didn't take him lightly. He's twice my size and twice as angry as I am. But, you know, my hat's off to him. You know, he's the future best big man, you know, in to come out of Connecticut and part in New England. So, but until I'm ready to give up that reign, he's still second place to me.
Well, I'll tell you that. I mean, the winner in that match was the crowd. We definitely,
Absolutely,
we were the winners in that match. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful match.
Oh, it was. I compared it to Brock Lesnar and Big Show.
Did you? Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely felt it for the next few days. But you know, my body is not the way it used to be 10 years ago. So, but you know, I mean, I had you know, just all down to it. And, you know, I had fun. It was a great match, and I was happy with it. And you know, like I said at the end of the speech, I love him. I respect him.
Mm-hmm.
He has all the ability of being the next best thing to come out of Connecticut. You know, the best big man. And I just feel, you know, like I had a part of it, of becoming or who he is today. And especially, you know, like Lulo and a lot of the guys that are coming out of the school. I mean, I'm not their #1 trainer, but I like to say I have a part in there of who they become.
You definitely do.
It is true. Dredd is down there a lot working with all the guys.
I've taken each kid and, you know, get into what I learn, get into the room. You know, I'll just work with them. You know, I'm not the greatest, never claimed to be. I just know how to work.
And you know what? I said before you got on the phone here that that was a $60 pay-per-view quality match, and definitely worth every nickel if you know if somebody were to buy that on pay-per-view.
Thank you. That's you know, it's an honor. It just shows you. I mean, I know my time is limited, and you know, I know I'm not going to be doing this forever, and I know I know the time's going to be coming soon, but you know, I still have gas in the tank. Only I know when it's going to be done. You know.
Only you can make that decision.
Well, one thing we do know is that when you go out, you're going to be missed, definitely, and you're going to go out with dignity and grace, as you do everything else.
Class act.
Yeah.
You know,
you know, I don't take this business lightly. I mean, I love it. It's been a big part of my life. The past, you know, next year is going to be mine and Bob Schmidt's, you could say, 13 years married together in this business. And, and I've loved every minute of it, even the crap that we go through, the drama and all the, you know, all the stabbing in the back.
yeah.
See where I am, you know. You know, you become there are very few people you become friends with in this business, and I think like the younger generation needs to. You know, I'm not putting anybody down. It's just the respect value has kind of, you know, disappeared.
Yeah, without really delving into it, you guys had more drama the last 2 weeks than the whole season of Total Divas, for goodness sake.
I mean, you know, people have the right to their opinion, and you know what causes the problem is the easy access of the social media, and you know, it could ruin people's
it's true.
career. It could ruin people's career, and it can make somebody's career. And you know, but the drama's over. You know, apologies have been said and accepted, and you know, let's just move on from there. I mean, you know, we all know the youth program's going to go on and go forth, and there's nobody else around here that is a better person that could be teaching these kids than, you know, than somebody that's a freaking superstar in 4 countries. And I'm glad to say I'm one of his best friends. And, you know, like I said, we came into this business together, and I owe part of my career to him. And as much as he probably will say, he owes a little bit of success to, you know, because of, like, my support and what we've done together.
Yep.
And we will go out together as, you know, our heads held up high.
Yes.
The day comes when we walk away.
And if anybody wants to know the sincerity and the truthfulness of Bull Dread, your writing, aside from the wrestling business, anybody that's friends with Bull Dread on Facebook, he does some really inspirational writing, and every time I talk to you, I bring it up, and I myself am a huge fan. Whether or not I comment on it, I do read it, and it does inspire me each and every time that you post.
Yeah, I mean, I write, you know, something I used to do in high school, and, you know, I gave it up for a while, but then once I started going through my personal issues of, you know, stress of life,
Yep.
it kind of just brought it out of me again, and now I do it, I'm not going to say it for fun, but I write what I feel, and I write what I've been through, and I just hope other people have, you know, kind of see my point of view of things, and if I'm able to inspire somebody and help somebody in any way to make themselves a better person or make a better day, then to me, I've done my duty as a servant of God.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of look at life, and you know, and everybody knows my history. I mean, I talk about the way I was brought up and where I came from. You know, my parents coming, you know, to America, you know, as immigrants, and you know, clawed and scratched to make the way of living. Even though I grew up with pretty much nothing, we survived on everything. And,
Yep.
And I mean, I think, Johnny, you know, I mean, I know, you know, anybody that comes to America knows, you know, you gotta love what's handed. You gotta appreciate what's given to you.
Oh, we absolutely do.
That's what I write about, you know.
Yeah, and you know, we possibly need to get like a Kickstarter or some sort of funding to get that published. Honestly, because I think you really need to reach out and get more people inspired, and I think it would be a superstar hit. Number one, you'd be on the Oprah Winfrey Network every week.
Well, believe me, I mean, I've been approached plenty of times to say, like, you know, I should come out and try to publish a book. It's not as easy as it sounds, you know, and oh, believe me, I have my blanks. You know, there'll be days where I don't write for weeks, but then sometimes it'll hit me, you know.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of talent.
Yes, it is.
And there's, you know, a lot of other people out there that want to write.
I mean, when you speak from the heart, it's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what really, I think, moves me and the other people that read it, that it's just honesty and it's truthfulness that is coming from you. It's not contrived, and it isn't scripted in any way. And like you say, you speak from the heart, and that's the best motivation of all.
Well, the same thing with my when I do video diaries, when I film, like I just post them up on Facebook. I don't put them up to the world on YouTube, but maybe I should. But you know, when I do video diaries, it's just totally me. You know, instead of writing it on Facebook, if you hear it in my mouth. And it's just my thoughts. I'm not bashing anybody, or it's just people need to see the other side of the beast. You know what I mean? And that's you know, the business is exposed as much as it is.
Yes.
So people, to be honest, and you know, to be out of gimmick is not out of character anymore. You know.
Right.
No. There's plenty of it going on.
Well, you know, you guys have a good night. I don't want to take up the rest of the time.
Yep.
You guys, you know, it's always a pleasure. I love talking to you guys, and I'd love to come on soon again.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Anytime. Thank you for your
Thank
time,
you,
my
Bull.
friend.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, no problem. Be well.
Yeah, Mr. Bull Dread.
Of course.
What a class act.
The original beast.
The original beast.
What a class act.
Yes, without a doubt. And as he mentioned, his speech after the match with Spencer Wrecking Ball was right from the heart, and he said it how it is and how he felt. And he was almost like passing the torch to the next generation, truly making the December 7th event what it was called: the past, the present, and the future.
Right, exactly. You see the future in the youth program. You see the present in somebody like Wrecking Ball, in the past with people like Ox Baker. And
I think
maybe
a lot of the
Bulls
matches
Red
were
sort
purposely
of.
set up that way.
Oh, pardon?
A lot of the matches were set up that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a present guy
Yeah.
with, you know, not a past, so to say, but
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
a veteran.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call Bulls Red the past, but he's, you know, kind of like in between the
Yeah.
past and the present.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
he mentioned this. He's reaching the twilight,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, he's
Yeah.
seeing more the end than he is the beginning at this point in his career. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No.
It's just a natural evolution of time.
Mm-hmm.
But
speaking of time, were you?
we're running about 2 minutes. So.
We're running about 2 minutes. I'll do my little segment quick. I don't have a bronze or a runner-up, but I'm going to say the worst person of the wrestling week is Michael Cole.
Yes.
The
Yes.
The championship match last night, and this is Michael Cole. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, if he was drugged up before the pay-per-view started, whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but Randy Orton is climbing the ladder. Oh my God, Randy Orton! John Cena's climbing the ladder.
John Cena was on the ladder, and he's caught
Where
him
have
on the
you
eye.
been
Right.
since 2002? There's
What
a
was he
clear
watching?
difference between Randy Orton and John
Well,
Cena.
to his credit, he was seeing into the future, so so he was a little ahead of himself.
Got his crystal ball there.
Right.
Yeah,
Michael Nostradamus Cole,
probably
the
seeing,
worst person of the wrestling week.
Yeah, right. He was envisioning the rehearsal match in his head, probably.
Exactly.
But overall, last night's pay-per-view, real quick. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I will give it a C.
I'm going to agree with him. Maybe B-.
Mm.
There was good, there was bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
C-.
Yeah, overall, total lack of content. It ran 15 minutes short, and we're running.
And we
about
don't
a
need to
minute
see
long.
commercials during a
That's what
pay-per-view
everyone
either.
says, but no one pays attention. Like
Right.
every pay-per-view runs set to
No
3:45.
commercials during a pay-per-view
Oh yeah,
either.
yeah. Get rid of the wings commercials.
Don't
So-
need commercials.
Close it out, gentlemen.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night and good luck. We'll talk to you next week.
Once again, thank you to Lucifer Lords and Bull Dread. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chip.
Have a great night.
Thanks for having me.